What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Joni Mitchell, and we're returning to Ladies of the Canyon, 1970. Thank you again to Nikola, as well as to Mark and others who've been commenting. Kim had a great comment last time around. And the next tune is Conversation, a single word title, though there is an implied dialogue at the very least. Which is to say, conversation, I think, mostly understood in a literal way, meaning verbal. Of course, you can have a conversation with yourself in your head. There can be a conversation or engagement that is primarily defined by gestures or body language. There are nonverbal conversations, but that is definitely a more figurative understanding of the term. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there are literal conversations, maybe plural. Maybe the song is itself a singular characterization of a particular conversation, but it feels like this is something that could lend itself to meaning on multiple levels, or at the very least could reflect larger issues or life trajectories. Let's see what it is in practice. This is Joni Mitchell. The track is Conversation, and it's from her 1970 album, Ladies of the Canyon.
He comes for conversation. I comfort him sometimes. Comfort and consultation. He knows that's what he'll find. I bring him apples and cheeses. He brings me songs to play. He sees me when he pleases. I see him in cafes, and I only say hello and turn away before his lady knows how much I want to see him. She removes him like a ring to wash her hands. She only brings him out to show her friends. I wanna free. Secrets and sharing soda. That's how our time began. Love is a story told to a friend. It's secondhand, but I'll listen to his questions. I'll give my answers when they're found. He says she keeps him guessing, but I know she keeps him down. She speaks in sorry sentences, miraculous repentances. I don't believe her. Tomorrow he will come to me and he'll speak his sorrow endlessly, and he'll ask me why. Why can't I leave her? He comes for conversation. I comfort him sometimes. Comfort and consultation. He knows that's what he'll find. He knows that's what he
sonic flourishing at the end of the track. Not only, I think, a little flute, a little sprightly flute, but that was a sax, right? Like a little swanky saxophone. So, and it's interesting because they came in almost immediately, it starts fading, though it took a while to fade, and it was like her vocals, her non-verbal melodic vocals, started to fade faster than the saxophone. Like I don't think everything faded equally. Either way, a really interesting tune, and if I'm reading it right, I really wonder if and how this would be autobiographical. I know there's like a previous tune, was it more than one? One for sure, that it was indicated this is about Leonard Cohen, and there's other songs I think that are related to actual relationships or connections she's had in her life. I feel like there has to be something here. Of course, it could just be a story told for the purpose of a song, but it's so specific. There's such conversational specificity that I feel like this almost surely comes from her life. In any case, it's a complicated little situation. She provides a conversational outlet and consultation for this gentleman who is formally with this other woman, though if the narrator is to be believed, she doesn't think, number one, that the other woman tells the truth. And I love the way it was like this spoken line out of rhythm, like, I don't believe her. I love the delivery of that line. But she's suggesting that this other woman kind of shows him off to her friends, doesn't really care about him, takes him off like a ring, I think is the line, and seemingly is a bit controlling, and at the very least doesn't provide him any emotional solace or outlet, which is why he comes to her and tells her these things, and also wonders aloud, why can't I leave her? Why can't I get out of this? And there's that line where the narrator says something like, it's a love story, but through a friend, so it's secondhand. So I think if I'm reading that right, it's she's this sounding board, and she's hearing about and maybe giving advice about this love relationship that feels rather loveless, or at the very least warped and not warm and glowing. And what was the line that she said? She's the afterglow? Am I hearing that right? But either way, again, it sounds like she's the outlet that he actually needs emotionally, but they're not together, and she's serving as consultation again. But there was that line at the beginning, what was it, I say hi and then I turn around before she realizes how much I'd like to be with him. And what was the other line? There was another line that seemed to suggest she is actually interested in him, but she, for the time being, is just in this kind of advisory role. There was a line about secrets and something. I forget exactly what it was, but yes, it sounds like for the time being she can't really make any headway, and she doesn't want to fully intrude or make a scene or cause a problem with this other woman. But yeah, she is in this guy's life and even providing him a refuge, but seemingly secretly. But for the time being, she's not the one with him. So yeah, a really interesting tune, emotionally complex, interpersonally nuanced, but very much related to the conversations, plural, that they're having, but also hearing about conversations that he's having with his actual partner. So yeah, a really interesting one. As I said, I wonder to what degree this is autobiographical. I love the acoustic guitar, very steady, but with a bit more force, a bit more energy than on some of her other tunes, where it's very kind of light and lyrical. Here it has a bit more bite to it. I mean, it's not heavy guitar or anything, but it just has this constant cycling energy to it. And then because that guitar line was relatively straightforward and cyclical, it really allowed me to key in on the lyrics and the vocals, and then suddenly, like I said, it starts flourishing with like a flute and a saxophone at the end. And I do wonder, like, is there a longer version of this? It feels like it very much could have gone on for another minute or two, but maybe that's the point. Maybe, like, the cacophony of sound, we just kind of, we start pulling back, we fade back from this dynamic, which may continue and, will relate to different sounds and emotions sort of overlapping each other. Either way, a really interesting one. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.